Well, it took a little bit longer, but the wait is over. The Sega Mega Drive Mini is finally here. And greetings YouTube gamers, welcome to another episode of Retro Radar. My name is Johnny Retro and welcome to the channel. That's right guys, today we are going to take a closer look at the brand new mini console on the block. The Mega Drive Mini is finally here and let me be honest with you guys. I'm a huge fan of the mini consoles. I understand that these are not for everybody, and I totally respect your opinion if you are not into these, but once again, me personally, I'm a fan. And when it comes to the Sega Mega Drive, you guys know that the Sega Mega Drive was the first video game console that I was introduced to. It was the beginning of my journey as a gamer, so of course that I've been dying to get this one. Without a doubt, one of the most iconic video game consoles of all time, not only from the 4th generation or the 16-bit generation, but to me, the original Mega Drive is the best home console by Sega. Now, before we jump into the video guys, let me just say this. This is not going to be a review or an unboxing of the Mega Drive Mini. These are just going to be, my initial thoughts or first impressions of the system. If you want to see a review, if you want to see unboxings, there's plenty of videos out there. And yeah, this is just, a Sega fan talking about the nostalgia and the passion for this amazing 16-bit system in a mini format. So without further ado guys, let's take a closer look at the brand new Mega Drive Mini right after this. Okay, first of all, let's talk about the looks, and I mean, this looks perfect. This is exactly what I thought it was going to be. This is a mini version of the original Mega Drive. Now, I didn't grow up with this specific model. I have the Mega Drive 2. To be fair, I prefer that model, just for the looks and the nostalgia, but, when it comes to a classic console, a classic re-release or a Mega Drive Mini in this case, of course that it had to be this version, the OG model. And let me tell you guys, it is pretty much spot on, aside from, the modern connections, the DC in of the mini USB and the HDMI out, this is a perfect mini replica of the original Mega Drive. Now, the controller of the Sega Mega Drive Mini, unless you are extremely used to the original one, you are not going to tell the differences. There are slightly, very subtle differences, but for me it is spot on 99%. It looks great, it feels great, and it plays great. Yes, there are a little bit of controversial around the controllers because, yes, you get 2 controllers, but we don't have the 6-button controller. You can get a third-party one. I don't think those were already released here in Portugal. I could be wrong about that, but yeah, if you want to pick one of these and if you want to play a couple of the fighting games included on this, you definitely want to grab one of those. Now, about the games lineup, we have 40 classic games plus 2, and of course that, by plus 2, I'm talking about Darius and Tetris. I think that this is a fair lineup, a fair representation of what the Mega Drive used to be back in the late 80s, early 90s. So when we talk about a game lineup on a mini console, of course that we want to have the classics there, but we also want to have diversity. Now for me, these classic mini consoles are not only for the old school gamers that grew up with the systems or collectors, but these are also for people that have kids, younger brothers, you name it, that want to have a sample, a little taste of what these classic consoles used to be. So that's why when it comes to the game lineup, you need to have those iconic classics, but you also need to have, a little bit of a sample, a taste of what the library used to be or what the library has to offer. And about these 42 games, of course that, it's impossible to please everybody in the same way, but I'm fairly happy. We have, of course, Streets of Rage 2, we have Castlevania, we have a couple of Sonic games, we have a bunch of RPGs. And as you guys know, I love RPGs. RPGs is my favorite genre, especially the 16-bit era. I think that was the golden age of JRPGs. And just a little side note here, guys, because of course that the Super Nintendo was king when it comes to JRPGs, but the Sega Mega Drive / Genesis has a couple of hidden gems within its library. And I think we have a couple of them right here. For example, The Story of Thor or Landstalker, one of my personal favorites. I actually have a video that it is part of a chain of 5 games that we would replace on the Mega Drive Mini lineup, and I will leave a link of that video in the description box below for you guys to check it out. But yeah, to sum it up guys, the looks of the console, the controller, the games lineup, it is pretty much spot on for me. Now about the menu, the layout, the way you navigate through the games, I think it is very good. It is very intuitive, easy to use, and of course that you can also use save states on this one, which is always a plus for me. It is clean, it is appealing. We also have a couple of extra informations about the game, which is a very nice touch in my opinion, and everything is in order. It works great. I didn't have any troubles with both the hardware and the software. No lag, no skipped frame rates, the music is spot on. Although I have to be fair, and I do have a tiny complaint here. Now, you guys are probably going to think that I'm being very picky about this, but just hear me out. You have a feature in this console, a feature that you also have on the SNES and NES Mini, and I'm talking about the CRT filter. When it comes to these classic games, me personally, and I'm not saying that this is the way you should play them, I'm just saying that this is the way I like to play these classic games on the classic consoles. I like to play them on the 4x3 format. And I liked the scanlines. I used the CRT scanlines filter on both the Nintendo Mini consoles, I used it on my Retron 5, and when it comes to this filter on the Sega Mega Drive Mini, the filter is just not very good compared to the other ones. Even the one with the Retron 5 is better in my opinion. I don't know, it just doesn't feel right to me, and it darkens the game a lot in my opinion. Maybe I'm doing something wrong, I don't know, but you really can mess up with the settings on the filter, but I would like to hear from you guys. Let me know down below if you have any problem with the scanlines filter on the Mega Drive/Genesis Mini. Now, I just want to make a quick comparison between the Mega Drive Mini and the other mini consoles that I have, and let's see if this is the best mini console on the market right now. Okay, so these are the ones that I currently have in my collection. As you can see, I don't have all of them. I don't have the Commodore Classic, for example, or the Commodore Mini. I also don't have the Neo Geo Mini, but I'm just going to make a comparison, my personal comparison of the ones that I have right here. And first of all, let's start with the very controversial PlayStation Classic Mini. Now, I'm not going to lie here, and I'm going to be 100% honest. The original PlayStation, the PS1, is without a doubt my favorite video game console of all time. And I'm talking about, the reason is, nostalgia, of course, the actual console, because it was the first console that we had at home, and it's amazing library of games, and it was one of the most, if not the most important video game console in the 5th generation of gaming. Now, when it comes to the mini consoles, the PlayStation Classic is the worst. And although I don't have the Commodore 64 Mini and the Neo Geo Classic Mini, I actually tried those out, and yeah, the PlayStation Classic, it sucks. Unless you hack it, of course, but that wouldn't be fair. I'm just going to talk about, the hardware and the software, the product, the way it was shipped to us, to the consumers, the way the brands meant it to be. And Sony, yeah, you really screw up this one. Still, it is good if you hack it. Okay, next one we have the OG right here, the OG of the mini consoles, and I'm talking about, of course, the NES Classic. This was the classic system that pretty much spawned this fever of mini classics, mini classic consoles, and the NES Classic is very good. The games lineup is okay overall. I think that it could be a little bit better, but still we have 30 classic games. Just one controller though, but you could get that separately. And the controller cable, the length, was very short indeed. But for the first mini console by Nintendo, I mean the NES, this is a perfect replica, spot on replica of the original Nintendo. So I think this is an amazing product right here. Last but not least, from the ones that I have, we move on to the Super Nintendo Classic. And yeah, this totally looks like the 16-bit war all over again. But going back to the Super Nintendo Classic, I think that this is a masterpiece right here. I mean, it's the Super Nintendo, and I think that it's superior to the NES Classic. Less games, a little bit more expensive, but I mean, we do have the extra controller. But I mean, come on, we have the official release of Star Fox 2, and the 20 games that we have right here are just amazing. I mean, talking about classics, all of the Super Nintendo classics are here. So just for fun, side by side, what is your favorite mini console between these two? I'm not talking about the OG consoles, I'm not talking about the original ones. I'm talking about what is your favorite mini console, the SNES Mini or the Mega Drive/Genesis Mini. Let me know down below. Now, as for me, and again, I'm going to be 100% honest with you guys, when it comes to the original hardware, my heart will always be with the Mega Drive. However, when it comes to the mini consoles, the mini classic consoles, I really don't have a favorite here. And the reason for that is because, of course, that this one is much more nostalgic for me because I didn't have the Super Nintendo back in the day. I didn't grow up with the system, but once again, I'm a huge sucker for RPGs. I love JRPGs, and just out of the box, this lineup for me, it's superior. Secrets of Mana, Final Fantasy 3 or Final Fantasy 6, Earthbound. I mean, this is the perfect lineup for me. This is the perfect Super Nintendo lineup for me, and I'm just talking about my personal taste. But again, the nostalgia and that old school arcade feel at home, yeah, the Mega Drive is superior in my opinion in that aspect. So between these two, I really can't make a decision. So for me, these two babies right here are the best mini consoles on the market so far. Now, one last thing before I wrap up the video. I know that a lot of people like to keep these, pretty much mint in the box, and a lot of people don't want to mess with the software. And of course, that I'm talking about hacking your system. Me personally, I hacked all my mini consoles, and yeah, I'm going to hack this one as well. Now, I've seen a couple of videos about it. I know that you can use HackChi on the Mega Drive Mini and the Genesis Mini, but I wouldn't recommend you guys to hack it just yet if you want to, because it is still in a very early stage. But once I hack this bad boy, I will let you guys know. And why I'm going to hack it? Well, first of all, I like to have the entire library on the mini console, and of course that, I love my homebrews and ROM hacks, and I want to see how they play on the Mega Drive Mini. And as a YouTube gamer, as a content creator, it's just easy for me to capture gameplay through these bad boys. And again, I'm not saying that you should hack your systems. This is just what I do. Now, to sum it up, guys, what is left for me to say, I'm very happy with the Mega Drive Mini. And as you guys can see right here, official Sega seal of quality right here. And it truly is. Sega, congratulations. You did good. And I would like to know your thoughts, guys, so feel free to share them down on the comment section below. Are you a fan of the mini consoles? Are you happy with the Mega Drive / Genesis Mini? And just out of curiosity, let me know, why do you enjoy the mini consoles, or why you don't? Let me know down below. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and as always, don't forget to put a like on this video, please subscribe to the channel, and take care of yourselves, take care of the gaming community, and game a lot.